In today's episode of the vlog, we connect with the whole world on Instagram Live. What is cracking? So, I just came from Jamaica, which normally I wouldn't do, right? But this came from like directly, so I was like, all right, let me, all right, so this is the building.
They have an on-site?
They have an on-site. That's who we met with. They reached out to Citi for help, and reached out to me.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. I have to send them numbers and shit and a proposal, blah 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 blah. Today, at some point. I don't know what it's gonna require from a time standpoint. So like I don't want to.
I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, like to be honest, it may be once or twice a week, like if that, kind of situation. Because I don't think, like I think this is excessive. I think 5-hour open houses make it seem like you're fucking desperate.
Yeah.
You know, I think I told them their pictures are totally wrong. Like if I looked at this
The
picture,
other thing is like that just could be how it's feeding through the street easy. Like the leasing office could just be open from 12 to 5.
no, you enter an open house. Yeah, you're entering it because it's not every day.
Right.
If you go and look, it's multiple times. So it may, but 20 deals, even if it's a few hundred, 500, 600,000 over the course of for sure. And then one project becomes 3 projects, becomes 6 projects. Right. Tired. Just sleep for 2 seconds. Alright, let's go. Oh, good massage. Alright, so we're heading to Queens right now. We got a couple of showings set up, and it's time to spit some knowledge in the car. Still haven't got a bracket for the phone.
I got one in the car that I'm not using, but it's not really good.
I definitely am getting more and more confident walking into pitches dressed like this with people I don't know. Because I don't care anymore. I just don't give a fucking shit whatsoever. Yo, it's crazy to think, right? So, I went from my crib to Jamaica this morning, back to the office, to do work in the office, to now go to Jackson Heights, to go to another building in Jackson Heights. It's crazy how many different parts of the city I see on any day. And, I mean, Brandy could tell you. Like, how often are we in multiple boroughs?
Yeah, like it's most of the week.
Yeah. If you guys could only know what's planned, like what's in motion right now for shit that's coming. Like what I'm putting out is just starting, and I'm excited. I gotta be honest. I'm a little scared just because as I continue to do more and more things, there's obviously more and more costs associated with it. So it just becomes scary because it's, in some cases it's significant thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, and the only way you grow is by putting money back into your business. But it doesn't make it scary. Like, it still makes it scary. We're talking about lots of money, and you know what? The impact, you just have to think big and long term. And the one thing that I'm trying to learn is to not always try to accelerate super fast when maybe I need a more steady progression. But I mean, it's incredible just seeing what's going on, and what's coming. You know, it's dope. Like one video away. Yo, I did a. Did I tell you about that live session I did with that dude in Australia?
No.
So some dude in Australia hit me up, right? He's a musician and a teacher, right? And he puts, you know, motivational stuff out as well. He's got like a little over 1,000 followers. I may not be exactly right. It might be a little bit more than that, but not much more. And he was like, yo, like, do you want to do a co-live thing? You know how that shows up? And I was like, yeah, sure, you know, whatever. It's a morning, like I have time, and like I was already working from home that morning, so it worked perfectly. And we did like a 45-minute session.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was like a good conversation, but it's like, you never know, dude. You never know what anything is. You know what I mean? Like the right person could watch that in Australia, and next week we're flying to Australia because somebody hired us to speak somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
By the way, do you have a passport?
Yes.
Okay, good. I meant to ask you that because I was like, fuck, I could see this happening, and then it being like, yo, I need to get somebody to fly with me because Randy can't come. I'm telling you, dude, something's gonna happen like that. Especially if I continue to target internationally. And once Instagram fucking fixes my views, then I'll start spending more money.
Yeah.
Until that point, I'm putting out straight organic content. We should have a talking tech with Mike segment.
Yeah, why not? We could do, and then we could reach out to people to review their products, or like we could just.
That's Casey's thing now.
No. But that's everybody's thing. Like, what would you do different in the tech segment?
I would try to sit with people. See,
that would be good for the podcast too.
I would love to sit with people and talk about what we believe is coming and how and why. And
okay. So it's gonna
tech forward,
based
off of what you're seeing now, and like this conversation we're having about transitioning to 4K.
Yeah.
Like that's a conversation that I would assume there's a significant amount of people would consume.
Yeah, for sure.
And I feel
I don't
proficient enough. Matter of fact, when it comes to tech, like I feel like I'm an expert. Like I've been around tech my whole life. I had my first computer 2 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did 320 pieces of content before hiring you. So it's like, I'm just trying to think about the shit that I'm passionate about, right? And I've always been passionate about tech. Right? Like, we're talking about cameras and the difference in fucking cameras in a car to record this, to use for this.
Yeah.
Like, that's geeky as fuck. But that's now cool in the society that we're in.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to think how to tie it all together.
That's a good conversation, and that'll probably be like a good separate podcast. Because you could talk about...
Right. It could be a whole separate podcast. So I could have, in theory, like 3 or 4 different podcasts.
Yeah.
It's just a case of recording them.
Yeah, with the same thing. Same thing with this podcast, where you do the video side of it too.
Right, and then that supports driving in traffic both ways, blah, blah, blah.
I don't see a lot of that. I see a lot of like people reviewing tech, and then within that they'll talk about, you know, what's next for cell phones and stuff like that, but they don't really get too in depth in how that affects like our daily lives, pretty much.
Right. Like I already see that the next level, like, we're going to get to a point very, very, very quickly, right, where we use 100 gigabytes of data a month wirelessly.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? That's going to happen very quickly. And once that happens, the current system is not really molded to handle that. Mm-hmm. And as a byproduct, they'll create some additional charges and so on and blah, 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
And I think this chick left me with like no space to park. Let's see. Whatever questions you have, real simple, post in the comments below. I will continue to talk about whatever the fuck I feel like talking about. So, you know, another thing, and I talk about this all the time, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about this. The way you dress on the weekend is the way you should dress every day of the week. I believe we put our best work out there when we are the most comfortable. And as a byproduct, I think, sorry, give me 1 second. There's traffic like no tomorrow over here. We put our best work out when we're our most comfortable. So I think it's essential to be very cognizant about where we work, how we work, what we work with, because the amount of time you spent at work is insane. So to be at a job where you can't be you, it just blows my mind. Blows my mind. Real quick, I started a community group in Westchester, and I was trying to gain a following to do better and larger projects. How would you do it? Community service group. So I would see if you could partner with some people that are already doing it. So, I mean, I would look to, depending on what it is, I would look to connecting with different Boy Scouts and Girl Scout organizations, boys clubs, schools, maybe businesses to try to get their employees to volunteer. I mean, I see that happen consistently. I mean, I run the charitable arm of Citi Habitats. So that's the direction that I would go. Tell me a little bit more about what it is, and I'm happy to go into more details as to what, when, where, and how. And yeah, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. It's another long day here in New York, but that's, you know, part of what it is. It's just another day in the chapter of what will become. When I look back in a decade, I'm just going to be astounded. I'm going to be like, damn, Mike, you really did put it in. And I got to tell you, it's not about patting myself on the back. It's about making all of you realize that this shit is possible. You just got to be willing to do what your competition isn't. My competition is not willing to work 70 to 80 hours a week, week in, week out. Maybe they'll do it once because, you know, they had a lot of business. But, you know, my competition isn't willing to invest in social and technology the way that I'm doing. My competition isn't willing to put themselves out there, you know, in every realm. My competition isn't willing to be them fucking selves. So, if you can't even be yourself, well, sorry. And this is, for any real estate agents listening, if you put on a persona to do business, stop immediately. Please. For your own good. Matter of fact, anybody, if you have to put on a persona to go interact, no, stop. Just be yourself. If you work for yourself and you're not who you are in your exterior, fuck. Like, I don't know what to tell you. What is this dude doing? Alright. Hopefully we can find a parking spot. We are on the block where we're going right now, but like anything in New York, finding parking is always a very, very fun activity. So if anybody has any other questions, please, I'm happy to answer. Where are you going? I have a 7 and 7:30 showing at the Roosevelt, Jason. So I just came from a showing at another building I have in Jackson Heights. And now I am at the other end of Jackson Heights Just looking for parking. The Roosevelt is actually to my right as I sit parked because the light is red. So that is where I am going. And then after this, I'm going home. King of Queens. No. Let's get something straight. You ain't putting me just as the King of Queens. I'm working to be the king of this fucking city. Very, 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 very clear. Like, I'm putting in serious work across Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens. So, while I'm from Queens, and I'll rep Queens all day. Sorry, Jason. Busy good day for me in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. I have been to Ireland once. I got stuck in Dublin on a flight back from Amsterdam and spent a couple of days there on Aer Lingus' dollar, or euro, I guess you would call it, pound in Ireland. I think it was the pound, yeah. So that was fun. Dublin is a cool city. What is the best way to achieve your goals in life? That is a great question, Caleb. The best way is to be honest with yourself, first and foremost. You have to take a look in the mirror and be dead fucking honest and figure out what it is you want, what your goal is, and if it is something that you are truly passionate about. If your goal is to make money just for the sake of making money, that's probably not something you're going to be as passionate about as something else. And what I always tell people to use as a gauge is think about what you can absolutely get lost in time in, where, you know, you're doing whatever it is, and next thing you know, 6 hours passed, and you're like, whoa, what just happened? That's something you're passionate about. And you have to tie what you're doing into what you're passionate about, period. Anybody that tells you otherwise is full of shit. And it's because they're old, and it's because they have views that are based on values that no longer are applicable because of the application of technology. You know, people's ability to distribute now is absolutely insane because it's exponentially greater than it's ever been at any other juncture in society. So, you know, that's a parking spot. You can make shitloads of money from your toilet. Like, that exists now. It's possible. Somebody will, a matter of fact, there probably is now some show that has 100,000 followers on YouTube or some network where some dude or some chick is talking from the shitter. I'm almost willing to bet. And if not, there you go. That's just like, it doesn't matter. So first and foremost, you got to do something you're passionate about. And then you work backwards. You figure out what your goal is, and you figure out what you need to do to put yourself in a position to achieve it, working backwards from the goal to current day. And what you'll find is if you start applying that to every segment of your life, not just goals, you know, is you figure out what it is and work backwards on how to get there, is that muscle gets better and better over time, and you become stronger at doing those things. And it actually helps in everything, ultimately. So that was a dope question. Let's see if there was anything else. And for any of you that have just joined us, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer pretty much anything. I think I got all of the questions. Let's see who's on right now. Windy City Dent Repairs, what's going on? I see you. I do too look forward to our FaceTime. Windy City Dent Repair won a 20-minute FaceTime from a contest I had when I hit, I think it was 1,000 posts. How do you decide what to do at when you're good at a lot of things? I love that question. I really do. You know what you do? You do all of them. Because if you're good at a lot of things, you have a responsibility to taste all of them. You have a responsibility to do all of them. We were just talking about this same exact thing earlier when it comes to, I want to start a tech talk show that talks about where technology is going and how those changes will impact how we consume, how we what we consume, the infrastructure necessary, like real geeky shit, because I'm into that. I love technology from that perspective. And that is vastly different than New York City real estate, than motivational videos, than how to build a fucking business, than a podcast about New York. Once again, totally different. But at the end of the day, it is essential to being true to who you are. So if you are actually great or good at a lot of things, go do a lot of things. Just be prepared to sleep on like a very tight schedule. Can't waste time in the morning, can't waste time at night. Like, that's how you do it. You got to be willing to. It's really not that complicated. Cheers from the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. That's dope. Middle of nowhere. Cool. Dublin is a lovely city. I live 25 miles away from Belfast and Downpatrick. Cool. So it's what? It's 5 hours ahead, so it's got to be almost midnight there in Ireland right now. If my time is right, I believe it's 5 hours ahead. I was on your side of the pond not so long ago. I do look forward to heading back. I love England, and I do want to spend a little more time in Ireland because my fiance's family part of her family history traces back there. So definitely, yes, near midnight. Definitely want to check that out at some point. Mike, what's going on? This is the dude I was telling you about that I did the live with in Australia. So we have Ireland on, we have Australia on, we had Oklahoma on. Who else is checking in? Let me know where you're checking in from. This is absolutely the beauty of technology. Is right now from my car in New York City, I'm connecting with the whole fucking world. Literally, this whole planet. Like, the whole fucking thing. Just off of targeted ads. Nebraska. Like, guys, I want you all to win. But I want you to understand that, like, you get used to. I didn't get to share this earlier today. I spent some time today with the CEO and president of Citi Habitats. And we're talking about different things. And we're talking about tired. And tired becomes a perpetual state that you just are in if you want to be successful. It's something that you have to learn how to get through and just deal with. And you can do it with a bunch of different things. You can do it, the bad way is to do it with, stimulants. The better way to do it is naturally with certain foods and so on, and exercise. But we're capable of doing this. Especially if you work for yourself. If you work for yourself, absolutely. Flawless piping, what's going on? I really want to show you that this is possible. I'm 2 years into building a multi-million-dollar machine, and, we're going to crack $1 million in revenue this year. My goal was to be number one in the company, and it's still my goal. I may come up a little short, and if I do, that's not the end of the fucking world. But at that point, in cracking $1 million in 2 years, I'll have increased revenue for the team 400%. So, like, I want you to see this not because I want you to be like, damn, Mike, you're the man. Because I don't give a fuck about that. I want you to see this because all I did was make a decision to do this and went in and dove in the fucking deep end, head first, and then did it again and again and again and again. Till the point where 12 to 15, 16-hour days just don't become anything. To when you take an 8-hour day because you got some other shit to do, you're like, oh, wow, this is nothing. We're going home early today. Brandon can tell you. Anybody can get it. Anybody that wants it can get it. I don't think everybody has it in them to actually go after shit. It's not because anybody is better than anybody else. I just think that as society, we're different. And most people will not chase their dreams. It's just a fact of life. They just won't. Tay Seattle. What's going on? We got Seattle on.
Nice.
So we got Oklahoma, Seattle, Australia, Ireland,
Nebraska.
There's got to be somebody from New York. Somewhere. Hopefully. Listen, nobody's from New York. It's all right. New York will still be here. Y'all off Brooklyn. All right, we got Brooklyn in the house. You know, it's funny. Tell you a fun story about New York. Back in the days, in the 90s, late 90s, hip-hop, early 2000s, when you went to the club and the DJ would start saying, "Where's Brooklyn at?" the club would turn into a fucking madhouse. Because people from Brooklyn, at that point, were just very proud. Let's call it. Proud to be from Brooklyn. And it was a different era. It was just a different feeling. It was, you know... And being from Queens, but having spent a lot of time in Brooklyn as a young kid, you just kind of like step back because, look, it was a different time in New York. Like, shit moved different, you know. It definitely wasn't as safe as it is today. Not even close. Like, today's kids would have got eaten alive in 1990s, 2000 New York.
Yeah.
Eaten alive. Crazy. A lot definitely has changed. So I got about 5 minutes. I give you about 5 more minutes. So if anybody has any questions, post them in the comments below. I am happy to answer pretty much anything. Let me see if I missed anything while that was going on. Midnight. Let's see. So yeah, let's see. We got Sandy, Luke, Richard, Johnny, Nicole, Steven, and Gemini. So, guys, really, like, go after, and Aaron just popped on. What's going on? Go after the shit that you're passionate about. Like, just try it. Like, what's the worst that happens? Seriously, you fail? Like, that's the worst? You're failing right now by not trying it. So, like, that's actually the worst. But is it alright to work at a city job just to have the experience and a better looking future resume? No. No. Absolutely not. What you should do is go get the skill set you need to get that job. You know? And it's not just, you know, it depends. There may be a couple of caveats where what I'm saying doesn't apply, right? Like there's a couple of specific, like, but I'm saying for the large general, no, don't ever work at a shitty job. Go get another job. Because you're going to spend so much time there that's just, that's stupid. You're not stupid, but that's stupid. Like, it's just, you shouldn't ever go to work and be like, especially, listen, I mean, I can't speak about the Irish economy because I don't know. But I can tell you the American economy and the Australian economy, because that's two countries that I know are on right now, are fine to find another job. Now, you may have to retrain. You may have to go out and learn a new skill. You may want to realize that you're passionate about bees. I don't know. Could be anything, right? Go learn what it is, and then go tell the story of it. That's where we're going. We're not consuming anything scripted. We're not going to consume scripted content as much year after year. Like, how much scripted content we consume is going to continue to decrease until you get to a point where it's like none. So be part of the change. That's what I say. And a resume. So 15 minutes. Gotta love when my appointments are late. Luckily, I'm going to be around anyway, so I got a little more time. I hope that answered your question, Luke. If you want to go a little bit deeper into what, you know, because obviously I'm answering from a very 1,000-foot perspective, but if you want to get into a little more detail, I'm happy to go into deeper detail. Trill Jones looks like he's from New Jersey because he's got a New Jersey map on his icon. So what's going on? If anybody has any questions that are just joining us, post in the comments below. I'm happy to answer questions about pretty much anything from real estate to New York to social and play with. I mean, okay. Are high school relationships what they're hyped to be? I've never had one, and people tell me I'm lucky. Are you talking about, like, romantic relationships? Like, what kind of relationships are you talking about? Because obviously that will directly impact my answer. And please give me a little more color. Be frank. Like, you know, or say you're asking for a friend. Whatever it may be. And I'm happy to answer, because I don't think I have enough. I mean, listen, I think romance is important. I think it's important to get your heart broken. I think it's important because you learn how to rebound off of shit. Like, you learn how to get back up. Because that's when most high school age kids really take their first L. Maybe you took it a little earlier because you had family shit, and that's always a possibility. But listen, have fun. Just be safe. Like, you never know what today's kids are having sex at younger and younger ages. Just be safe, because one, having a child is the most exhausting thing in the world. It is more exhausting than running a 70 to 80 hour a week business. I'm 100% telling you that. And I truly feel that if they were able to simulate the exhaustion of having a child in sex ed or wherever they teach kids about sex in school, you would have a lot less teen pregnancy than you do. And I know teen pregnancy, at least in this country, is at some of the lowest rates that it's been. So wrap it up and have a good time, you know? That's my perspective. All right, we're going to give you guys 2 more minutes till 7 o'clock local time. And I'm going to pop off because I want to get a little coffee, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to do Facebook on the move, maybe. Oh, there's a Dunkin' Donuts on Roosevelt. Perfect. All right. So I hope everybody had a wonderful day. We got about a minute. And let's see. We got about a minute left, and then we'll pop off. Nobody has any questions. Close. Is it better to be physically fit or mentally fit? Why can't you be both? That seems like a defeatist attitude. That seems like you're okay with not having everything. And I don't get that. Because you're young. Like, pause due to poor connection. Fucking shit hasn't moved. So, I mean, I'm trying to get more physically fit, but that's just me personally. So, it's about to be 7 o'clock here in New York. I want to wish you all a wonderful evening wherever you are in the world, or morning, or whatever time it is where you are. Peace out. Put goodness into the world, and goodness will find you back. 40 viewers. Wait, save.
He had some good micro stuff in there.
You think? Good. Save, motherfucker. I think I need to do more of this, because I think doing this triggers my other shit to work, to like get better traction. And I don't know that there's any proof to that, but I believe that to be true. Alright, so let's do this. Transfer me that file. Mm-hmm. Let's shoot intro, outro, whatever else, and then you could bounce. We had another good day in the books. Peace. I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler, I'm a hustler.